Hey everybody, welcome to ChillerNight Live. This is Brian, and we have another week of your topics we'll be talking about. Guten Tag, Patty says. Yeah, Guten Tag. Yes, indeed. Ravencross says hello. Oh, Dee says good evening, everyone. Ravencross says, or me anyway, LOL. Evening, Patsy. Some exchanges of salutation being given. Ava's on Facebook saying hello all. Hey baby, thanks for joining us. And I was trying to get this chat to appear larger on my screen. Don't like it when it does this. Hi Brian, happy haircut. All right. Yes. Zzz. Getting it nice and tight for the summer. Let's see. Where's Stephanie at? Is she on here yet? All right. Well, we got Stephanie's topic for tonight. We'll be putting that up here, and that is going to be horror movies based on books. All right. So we'll be getting to that here in just a bit. Yesterday was May the 4th, Star Wars Day. So I don't know if any of you did anything. I don't know. Do you do anything for that? Do you watch one of the movies? Maybe A New Hope or something like that. I don't know if anybody did anything. I'm wearing a Mandalorian shirt tonight because of Star Wars Day yesterday, and the Mandalorian and Grogu movie come out later this month. You know, I don't know what to think. I don't know if it'll be any good, but you know, hey, we'll see. I don't have a lot of faith in Disney Star Wars anymore, but maybe they'll set the course back where it needs to be. Al says, hi everyone, Salem's Lot. Yeah. Oh, I have Salem's Lot on there. I have another one. I have another one of these that does have Salem's Lot. Yep. Yeah. So that is our... yeah. Patty asked, I was going to ask that... Patty says, has anyone seen Welcome to Derry? It's based on a book. Just came out today on video, but I have not seen it. Any good? Yeah, has anybody seen that? I think it's on HBO, the series Welcome to Derry. I have not seen that. Let's see. A little bit of a variety there. We got The Shining on here. It, The Exorcist, Frankenstein, Dracula, of course. And they got Misery. Of course, there's a plethora to choose from with... Stephen King books. It ended on Endor, LOL, Ravencross said. Ava says, hello. Okay, now Ava's on YouTube. Bonnet says, hey, hello, Brian and the awesome ChillerNight crew. Hey, Bonnet, thanks for joining us. Brian Ivers says, hello, everyone. Hi, Brian. Thanks for joining us. Brian's on Facebook joining us. Ravencroft said it's not great, Patty. It's the acting is good, but the writing, eh. Ava says sounds like something from It. Stephen King. What that Welcome to Derry? Yeah, that's like the prequel to It. I think. D says, nope, I haven't seen Derry. I do not have HBO. Paul says, hey there, family. How is everyone doing today? Mom and I are okay. How is Sis Ava? Well, thanks for joining us, Paul. She is doing well. Hi, Ava. Yeah, it's a spinoff from It, Patty says. All right, so... yeah, and then I wonder if I have that on the other one. Let's see here. Wait a second. I Am Legend. That's another one. That's another one that that was of course the same book inspired The Last Man on Earth as I Am Legend. We got Jaws, Salem's Lot. Paul says, "Hey there, Ava Manos watched A New Hope every year." Oh yeah. I know a lot of people do that, so I'm just curious. I was just kind of curious who all in our little group does that. SBC says H.P. Lovecraft's Necronomicon. Okay, easy for me to say. Yeah, H.P. Lovecraft. That's right. I forgot about him. John says if you're looking for a good book for horror movie. For a horror movie, you can check them out here. It's time again for ChillerNight Live. This is Crozak the Grand, and now here's our host and librarian, Bryan Hogue. That's right, you can check them out. I like what you did there. All right, thanks for joining us there, John. The Other by Thomas Tyrone, Ravencross says. Bennett says, greetings and hello to the lovely ladies of ChillerNight. Our sweethearts of Scream, Miss Ava, Passivan, D. Stephanie Press. Kevin says, good evening, everyone. Hey, Kevin, thanks for joining us. It's Stephanie. Did she hear? See, again, this week, instead of hitting the chat so that it's on half the page, I got the little, I can only see a couple comments. So trying not to miss anybody's comments this week. But I hope Stephanie joins us. It's her topic. Let's see. This is a stretch, D says, but Vampire Academy, many more books, 6 total after the first movie, based on the first book. Interesting. I've not heard of that. So they did make a movie of it. All right. Bonin says, hello, SBC Paul, Ravencroft, and all the guys. Red says, hello, wow, been a while, good seeing you. Has it been a while you've been on YouTube? Well, thanks for joining us, Red. 23-16-5. We'll say Red. Yeah, we've been on YouTube for, how long has it been? I don't know. But as far as doing this show here, I've been doing this since 2017, I think. Yeah, October, or shortly after October 2017, because that's when ChillerNight Live, or ChillerNight Theater, kind of got a relaunch with Stream TV. And I just started doing, actually, I originally started just doing this on my phone, just like, hey, everybody, in about, I don't know, 20 minutes, just letting everybody know that at 9 o'clock. And then it developed into like an hour show, what it is now. So yeah, we've been doing this for a while. The Howling by Gary Brandner. Ava says, how do you fix chat again to see everyone? Well, I had my own page for the longest time, for years, and it's something went wrong, because something is always going to go wrong. And so I couldn't move it on the page like I had been for years and years doing this. And now I can't get that up here. So I should have clicked chat before we started to see if that would have fixed it. But alas, I did not. We'll have to see if we can get that for next week. D says, correct, just on the first book. It's a shame because it's a nice light vampire lore with a theory on how to revert vampires back to human form. That's interesting. Paul says, how are all my chiller sisters doing today? Ava says 2017. Yeah, so it's been a while. John says, fun fact, Running Man author Bachman is actually Stephen King. Yeah. This is true. hey Paul, I'm doing better. They put me on some new meds and the headaches have eased off. I'm actually getting 3 to 4 hours of sleep at night now too. Well, that's good. Hopefully we'll see an increase in your sleeping hours. But that's, hey, one step at a time, right? Patty says, funny thing, Brian. Just watched City of the Dead last Friday, and guess what? Was first last Saturdays on Stream TV. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It was City of the Dead. Red says, yes, I go on YouTube and I've not seen you on YouTube. Is there? Is there certain days you are on YouTube unless I am missing something, no matter. Good seeing you. Oh, yeah. Actually, every Tuesday night we are here. And then in June, next month, the days are clearly indicated by little jack shadow heads, but on every Wednesday and every Friday, beginning on the 17th, and this will actually go on for at least 20 weeks, and hopefully longer. I will have another show coming out with Jack Shadow, and that'll be weekly, twice a week, and then you can see there on Saturday nights, on the 20th and 27th, new episodes of ChillerNight Theater start. Now, ChillerNight Theater will still be on Stream TV, and the other show for Jack Shadow will only be available to watch on a new companion YouTube channel that I will be launching here pretty quick. In fact, next week I'm going to give you everybody watching this next week, I'll give you a kind of a little teaser trailer to the new show. So hope you enjoy that. And then, because it will be like 5 weeks away from launching it. So I think that'll be a good time to do that. So everybody who's watching this, if you would, when it comes time, when I actually launch that channel, if you could go over and subscribe to that and watch the new show, that'd be great. If you want to watch the new show, but hopefully you at least subscribe, help me out there. Because I can't monetize this channel, but I can monetize the other one. So, cool calendar, Dominic says. Thank you. Put that up because it is pretty cool looking. I just had generated that right before the show. Actually, Red says thanks. I will be watching you. Want your favorite horror show? Want your favorite horror show in the 70s? My favorite horror show in the 70s? Horror show was my favorite horror show, or are you talking about movie? My favorite horror show was the Chiller Theater on Saturday nights, and then that's what inspired me to do what I do now. But horror movies, gosh, that would be a tough one. That would be a really tough one to say. I don't know. Hellraiser D said, yeah, there's a kind of a neat list on IMDb, and it's got stuff like I just wouldn't have initially thought, like Psycho and The Birds. They got a lot of stuff from Stephen King that is expected. Rosemary's Baby, of course, The Shining. That's number 1 on this list. Jaws. The Exorcist, The Amityville Horror, Stir of Echoes, Candyman, I Am Legend, The Howling, that was mentioned earlier. I think SBC might have mentioned that. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I didn't realize that was, is that based off a book? Maybe it is. The Birds, The Fog, The Haunting. That's interesting. Some of those I didn't realize were books first. Paul says, Brian Manos is super excited for the relaunch. All right, awesome. I hope you love it. Smash that like button. Thanks, D. Yes, yes. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff. We desperately need it. Um, this is... Ravencross says, so are your movies streamed live or are they posted and archived or both? They are with Stream TV. I mean, I just post them to YouTube. I post them to YouTube. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like if it's a new one coming out, I don't put it. That's a good question. It's been so long since we've had a new one, and the other ones we were doing them live. We had done them live for so long that it's been like, when did I post them? I probably posted them like after Stream TV showed theirs, but I in no way feel like there's going to be a conflict of, well, the YouTube folks aren't going to watch Stream TV now. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. So I'll probably post them on Saturdays as well. And the neat thing about YouTube, though, even though if like Stream TV doesn't, you can see right here, streammedia.tv, that's where you can go every Saturday night at 9 o'clock to watch the new programming. But, most people have the, Roku TVs and can get YouTube on your TV set. So that's pretty cool, at least for the new programming that I have, that I'm doing with Jack Shadow. You'll be able to check that out on your TV, hopefully. Good evening, Brian. Doug Hazelton says, hey, Doug, thanks for joining us. Thank you, SBC, and everyone in the ChillerNight crew for the care. Bonehead says, concern and well wishes all sent me. Thanks again, everyone. Very much appreciated. That's very nice. Red says, movie. Oh, my favorite movie from the 70s. Horror movies. Wow, that's a. I don't even know where to point my mind for that one. That's that's a tough one. I must dwell on that one, Red. Jaws, SBC says. The Amityville Horror. Dominic says, the show is very educational. No idea Jaws was based on a book. I didn't either. Oh, yes, I did know that. That's right. Which one didn't I know? There was another one on that list that I didn't realize was a novel. Rosemary's Baby. Ravencross said yes. But it says Killdozer was a novella written by Theodore Sturgeon in the 40s that was made into a movie in 1974. He also wrote the screenplay for it. Does that count? Well, heck yeah. It was based off of one, so that definitely fits the theme. Jason says the Omega Man was a better version of I Am Legend. Hey, Jason, thanks for joining us. Yeah, I think so too. I didn't much care for I Am Legend just because I thought, and I know they're pretty limited back when the CGI was, I don't know. I mean, I can't even say that. I mean, look at Jurassic Park. That came out, what, 93, and that was fantastic. I Am Legend, that came out in, what, the mid-2000s, like 2000... what, 5, 6 maybe? So, yeah. I just thought they looked cartoony, very cartoonish, the CGI in that. The Exorcist, Jason says. Rosemary's Baby. D says, I know what you did last summer, author Lois Duncan Arquette. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize that was based off of a book. Jason says, The Sentinel, Wolfen. Raymond says, Brian, will this new station block many movies? The new station? The new... the YouTube? It's not movies. I'm not playing... It's not a... The new Jack Shadow program is not going to be one where we're watching a movie together. It's not that. And next Tuesday night, I'll give you a trailer and I'll show you exactly what it is. I think it's a neat idea. I think it's pretty cool, and I hope you guys like it. But I'm keeping all the ChillerNight Theater stuff here on this channel because it's inevitable. That will happen, and I don't want to take any chances for the other YouTube channel to, get any notifications or nothing like that. Or to not be monetized. Because even if they say that they'll monetize me and say, oh, okay, we've accepted your appeal or whatever. I don't know what the process is for that. But that's not to say that they can't just out of the blue take it away at a later time. And I don't want to even take that chance. So it's 100% pure content. They can't say that, oh, because you're playing movies, that's not your content. Even though we're building a show around it, but I get that part. But that's why I'm splitting off to a companion channel so that I don't have that issue. Jason says Jaws. Peter Benchley. Brad says Mother's Day is this Sunday. Now that's awesome, but not as awesome when the 1931 horror films Dracula and Frankenstein coming to the public domain this January. Yes, and they're both even on here. Those both fit the theme for tonight as well, Brad. Horror movies based on books. So, Jason says Exorcist 3 was based on Legion, the author of The Exorcist. Oh, is that right? I didn't even see it. Ah, there's Stephanie. All right. The one who picked tonight's topic, so we're glad you made it. But she says, sorry late, just got home from book club. Well, we're glad you could join us tonight. Tonight's topic, obviously, is horror movies based on books. So we're just throwing out there's a lot of movies here that me and I'm sure others didn't even realize were based on books. Dominic says, Brian, did you try the Grogu and Mandalorian Whopper? Burger King and Star Wars have a collab. No, I didn't. I haven't been to Burger King in so long. No. How about you? Have you tried it? Has anybody else tried it? I didn't. I was not aware of this. SBC says, Last Man on Earth was the best version. Yeah. Yeah, without the Last Man on Earth, we might not have had Night of the Living Dead. I remember, Bill Cardell, he, was talking to him, and he told me, he says, yeah, that's how, George, obviously he was a big fan, or big, close friend with George Romero, and he says, yeah, George told him, yeah, we were sitting in a day room in college, watching The Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. And they were sitting there like, we could do a better one than that. So, from that, idea, that was the seed that sprung forth Night of the Living Dead eventually. So, kind of neat. Let's see. Children of the Corn was a short story by King. That's neat. Jason says, The Ritual, a good recent novel and movie on Netflix. Brad says, I know that it was Star Wars Day yesterday. May the 4th be with you, all except for episode 8, The Last Jedi. Yeah, you know what? I heard a rumor, and I don't know, you can never tell anymore what you're reading online, I don't know. I want to look into that. I was going to look into it before the show, but I didn't have time. But I heard this. Now, this might be not at all true. But I heard that they're Ahsoka season 3. Is it season 3 or season 2? Must be season 2. I don't think they had 2 seasons of it yet. Is going to split the timeline in Star Wars to take away from the Last Jedi's timeline. I don't like timeline stuff like that. You know, I generally don't, but I understand from a business point of view because Kathleen Kennedy and her just astonishing ignorance and stupidity. Really, there's no other words to describe it. Just a mass extreme stupidity tank that franchise, and they're trying to get people back through Mandalorian and these other series and stuff like that. But I really think that they're henpecking their way back to trying to get back, you know, to a decent size again, to a survivable size. Where before, I mean, Star Wars, there was no way that ship was going to sink, but we saw that happen with the prequel, or not the prequel, but the sequel trilogy with The Last Jedi. But like I said, I'm not a big fan of that timeline stuff. But if it saves a franchise, if it's actually able to, what would you do if you're a shareholder and you had some input and you're seeing that, you know, somebody's not taking care of your investment, or you're the business owner, you're the head of Disney, and you're like, okay, you guys sank that ship, now you fix it, and you know, if that's what it takes, then you do it. Because, you know, I don't know, normally I'm not a fan of that, but if that's what fixes it, you know, everyone needs a mulligan every once in a while. The hardcover of that book is expensive, D says. Dracula by Bram Stoker and Frankenstein by Mary Wollstonecraft. Mary Shelley. I'll just say Mary Shelley. Roger says, good evening. Good evening, Roger. Thanks for joining us. Paul says, Brian, do we have to pay for the new channel? No. No, it's going to be just like this. It's going to be just like this. In fact, this show here will be available on that other channel as well. So, and I'm pausing because in my head, I don't know if I can stream on 2 YouTube channels at once, like I do with Facebook. If you're watching this on Facebook, you can choose from, you know, a variety of different pages to watch this on. I don't know if I can do that on YouTube. I think I can, but I haven't tried it. So that's the only reason I just don't know yet. And the page isn't launched yet for me to, but I'll probably launch it next week so that I can test this out. Stephanie says, I've read both Frankenstein and Phantom of the Opera. Ah, Phantom of the Opera, cool. That's going to be coming up. We got silent horror movies actually next week, and that'll be the topic for next week, and that was SBC's topic. That just reminded me of that when you said Phantom of the Opera. Don't forget The Fog, John Carpenter. Paul says, yeah. Burger King's Whoppers are good, Brad says. Bonus says, wasn't King Kong based on a book by Marion C. Cooper? That very well could be. I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to look that up. But that's neat if it is. Again, yeah, like Dominic says, this is very educational because there's a lot of stuff that I didn't realize were first books before they were turned into movies. Has anyone said The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells? No, that's first I heard it brought up. Anyway, but I can only see a couple comments at a time, so I might have missed it, but I think you're safe there. And John says The Invisible Man. So you guys probably might have said that about the same time, because yeah, just like seconds apart. Patty says Devil Rides Out was a book that Christopher Lee read and insisted that Hammer should make. He made a deal with them so they would. Oh, is that right? That's cool. War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, Boned says. The Fog with Stephen King, film by Carpenter, both good. Yes, Patty says. And Patty also says The Mist. Ravencroft said it's too late to the damage to Star Wars is done. The original actors are never coming back, and they destroyed their characters. Several of them are dead. Yeah, but what they can do, I agree with that, and that's why I haven't. I was a Star Wars fan up until The Last Jedi, but what they can do, if the timeline separates before and goes on, and I actually heard years ago that they were talking about doing this, and it has to do with the world between worlds or something like that, from that old from the Clone Wars episode, where there is an instance where Ezra goes back and he saves Ahsoka from getting basically decapitated by Vader, and he pulls her out to her safety. But he had to have gone back through time, in this like dimension, this force dimension within Star Wars. They do have that, so I can see with that, and that the world between worlds was actually featured on the Ahsoka series, on the season 1. So they could do that, and I'd be okay if they just did that. It branches off. Then we get to see our heroes, who we've loved and adored for all those years, and we could see them now as younger characters veer off. I mean, it'd have to be with AI, of course, and AI and CGI, whatever you want to call it. But they are able. Check out some of the fan films, the Star Wars fan films. Some of those are just incredible, and you swear you're looking at a young Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford. I mean, some of that stuff is just, and Carrie Fisher. They're able to just bring them back. And, with the licensing behind it, with the actual Lucasfilm licensing behind it, and saying, hey, this is the green light, this is the way we're going to go. I'm sure there's some legalities involved, obviously, but for utilizing likenesses. But, I think fans want to see that. They got a taste of the garbage from what Kathleen Kennedy was dishing out, Rian Johnson. So I would like to see it, only because that's the only thing, in my opinion, that would realistically save that franchise for a lot of the fans, the old school fans. They lost a lot of old school fans, a lot, because people are just not going out to see the movies now. D says there's a lot of horror movies, edition The Ring, based on Japanese novels. Oh yeah. Raymond says, I love The Last Man on Earth. The ending was so sad. Right. Yeah. Hellraiser, 1987. Brian says, changing the timeline worked for Star Trek films. They did with the is it the Kelvin timeline or something like that? I mean, I get you can do it. And they had. It's not like that wasn't ever done before. Mirror Mirror, one of the original series episodes. That type of thing is done, where they do have parallel universes. All I want them to do is do it in a way to where it's done right, and it's not overdone like in Marvel and DC. It's overdone. It's like it's too overdone, and so no movies ever have any consequences, or shows or stories have any consequences. They're so, Batman could get killed every week, and there's no investment there from the reader's point of view, or because nothing matters. There's no gauge to the significance of what you're seeing and experiencing. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters when you do that. But if you just do a timeline break and keep it that way, then I'd be okay with that. Did they make some movies from H.P. Lovecraft, Die Monster Die, based on his Keller Out of Space? I'm not sure. Paul says Star Trek did a few episodes of Timeline. Yeah. Ravencroft says, if I was a Disney shareholder, I'd sell my stock, LOL. Yeah, I wouldn't be happy because you depend on, I mean, that's the agreement that, you know, you're counting on them to do and whatever is in the best interest for them and the shareholders, the best interest, you know, for everybody involved. And when that didn't happen, so yeah, I wouldn't have been happy with that. Dominic says Star Wars was in the deep abyss right now. It'll be quite interesting to see how Disney tries to get their money back. Well, I think if they did what I read is the rumor, and at first I was like, but again, I've been thinking about this because like I've been hearing this since The Last Jedi came out. I was like, okay, we got to fix it now. How do you fix this mess? And that was brought up. The world between worlds was brought up way back when The Last Jedi was just released. It was like, okay, all this garbage went out. Now how do we fix it? You know? And now they have the ability to actually make content. They can make young Harrison Ford, young Mark Hamill, young Carrie Fisher, they can Billy D. Williams. They can put all them in the movies again, you know, and make it look fantastic. I mean, I look at the stuff that's coming out now, the fan films, and I'm just blown away by that. It looks so real. I mean, you swear you're looking at the young actors, and I'm just amazed. Like, how come Lucasfilm hasn't done this yet? Why have they done that? And maybe that's exactly what they're going to be doing, is saying, okay, obviously the fans love this stuff, you know, let's give them that. Let's just do it. Let's make money again, you know. I don't think they care so much about what the fans want. They care about the money, though. And they're not getting it so far. You know, they really tanked. John says, several horror stories were also made into miniseries like The Stand and Salem's Lot. Yeah, that's right. Patty says, I thought The Mist was Stephen King. Oh, Bonin says, I thought The Mist was Stephen King. John Carpenter wrote The Fog. I got the book. Dennis Etchison wrote the novelization based on Carpenter's story. The Fog. See, I thought right here, because this list is books or horror movies based on books, that they would tell who the author was of the book. So, unfortunately, I thought I would see an answer there, but let's see. Manos is happy to hear that. He's a cheap SOB, Paul says. yeah, there's no cost for the other channel. It's the only reason I'm doing that another channel is because I can monetize the other channel once I meet a certain criteria, you know, requirements set by YouTube, of course, but this one here, because I'm playing public domain movies, I can't, because they say it's not my original content. I get it, but Raymond says, Brian, why don't you have us buy you a coffee when you're on YouTube? I know. Oh man, I'm burning the candles at both ends. I work up until night. I get up in the morning, you know, have my first coffee at 4:45, and I'm working. I'm working until I get ready to go to my job, and then I come home and keep working. And so, yeah, I could probably use some coffee, more of it. Patty says, Disney will make it back with merchandising. They're selling a popcorn bucket here at Walmart as a tie-in for $50. Oh my gosh. Oh, really? Hannah's dead, I am out. Dee says, okay, he's dead in that timeline. But if they do break it off, it would be like, picture you're going back through, You've just got done watching Return of the Jedi. Now, a handful of years later, the Mandalorian story comes out. See, a lot of people are thinking like I heard Tamora Morrison say, "Oh yeah, now is the right time to bring back Boba Fett because he's the right age." No, he wasn't. Boba Fett was still a young guy, like early 40s, and Tamora Morrison's 20 years older than that, playing the character. But what I'm saying is, these stories can, they're just like a handful of years after Return of the Jedi. That's why all his characters are still young. Now they can do whatever they want to with all these stories from the Mandalorian, timeline. If that's the way they go. I really hope they do. I really hope they do. Because then Han would be alive, and Leia and Luke. $50 for a popcorn bowl, Poned says. That thing better make the popcorn and butter it too for that price. Yeah. And sing me a song too while it's at it. Raymond says, I don't see Bonehead on YouTube or Facebook. How is Bonehead communicating with Bryan? I can hear his thoughts. Bryan says, The Thing from Another World, 1951, and John Carpenter version was based on a book called Who Goes There? Interesting. I did not know that. I don't know why you can't see Bonehead, Raymond, but he is on there. Ravencroft said, he's in my YouTube chat. Are you in live chat mode? Oh, that's right. There was some kind of mode there that somebody had brought up. Maybe it was Ravencroft. So, Star Wars Multiverse, SBC says. Or one could make it so that everything that happens after the fourth movie was just a dream of Jar Jar Binks who smoked the wrong herb. Yes, maybe so. Maybe so. Let's see, what did Patty just send me? Oh my gosh! The popcorn bucket. Man. I don't know if you guys can see that. not the best way for me to do that, I guess, but I'm sure you saw it. You got that's kind of a neat looking bucket, though. I gotta admit, that is pretty cool. I don't know if I'd pay $50 for it, but I don't know. We'll see. That is pretty cool. I'll give him a good word for that. I'll give him credit. That is pretty neat. Bonin says, hey Raymond, I'm doing it with mental telepathy, lol. No, I'm on YouTube here. Check your settings to get all the comments instead of top comments. There you go. Alright. Let me switch. Ravencroft says, nah, Star Trek is dead too, sadly. I haven't watched it. I just see live chat. I don't have a help desk to call. Oh, I can't help you out right there. Star Trek definitely took a nosedive with Starfleet Academy. I was like, if anybody should have learned our lesson from sitting back and watch Lucasfilm start their dumpster fire, and now instead of pouring buckets of water, they're pouring like kerosene on it and making it even worse. So I was like, who would be dumb enough? First of all, who would have been dumb enough to have done that to begin with? And then who would have said, well, that's a really good model to learn from. I'm going to do that too. And that's what Star Trek did. Idiots. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where they get these people. And unfortunately, the fans suffer, but not only that, suffer. I mean, that's a strong word to use, but but I'll tell you who does suffer are all the people who work there for those people, who are working, putting in the long hours and doing all the hard work. All the not just the actors, but all the people who make that work. You know, the actors are just a small component of all that stuff going on. So, I mean, they're screwing with these people's livelihoods. And I hate to see that, too. Stephanie says, my mom and I saw a Die Monster Die for movie night one time. Oh, yeah? That sounds good. Now you need to get a bucket. A popcorn bucket for $50 at Walmart. Make your movie experience all the better. I should do that with a Jack Shadow bucket, you know? Don't worry, I wouldn't charge $50. Okay, SBC says, Raymond, in the upper left corner of the chat window. All right, might want to check that out. Let's see. Let me get caught up a little bit. How far oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was that far behind. Let me go. And Red says, what time you get up? 4:45. I'm retired. I used to get up at 4 a.m. for 30 years, so I understand. It's not the getting up part, it's the staying up. So I understand why you have a full-time job plus you do ChillerNight. Yeah. Yeah, it's well, for me, what I'm doing, I'm working to make sure that I don't have to kill myself this summer, like trying to get everything done, because I don't even know if I'm having a haunted house this year. I'll be honest with you, I'm not real sure about that, just because I got these other things I'm trying to get done, just with projects and in life, and it's no dig against the local mall management or anything. In fact, they're great to work with, and I like and appreciate everybody that works there. But it's the owners. It's the owners of the mall. That's the trouble, though, with getting out of state owners that buy up property, real realty and commercial property or residential. They don't care, about the communities. That's why you have slumlords. That's why you have people who buy things and let it go. Which is what happened here, unfortunately. And you have the local management and workers working their butts off trying to make that, keep that place going. And unfortunately, there's just no walk-through traffic there anymore. Ravencroft said, for me, Luke is Mark Hamill, Han is Ford, etc. They had one shot and they threw it away, sadly. It's cool if others feel differently. No, I agree with you. That was just, again, that was just such a monumentally stupid. That right there. you can't get just a more stupid decision in film history, in movie history. You would never find one dumber than that. They could have just rode off into the sunset. All they had to do, honestly, they could have just made mediocre movies, at that point, and just kept that ship, I mean, I wouldn't want that to be their goal, but I sure didn't want them to do what they did and sink the ship as soon as they got it. They bought it for a couple $billion from George Lucas, and then they just, yeah, we got it. And they drove it right off the cliff almost instantly. How dumb. Not $50. Neat though, LOL. D says, yeah. $50, that is a crime. Well, that's probably why they need to make money off of merchandise. About the book club. The book is called Anima Rising by Christopher Moore. To make the summary short, Klimt, Jung, and Freud meet the Bride of Frankenstein. Oh yeah, Stephanie says. Cash grab. CEOs do not care about storyline purity, only money. Yep, that's it. That's exactly it. We don't talk about Star Trek. John says. Bonus says, Raymond, I'm an equal opportunity annoyance. Glad you get to see my comments so I can aggravate and offend everyone at the same time. LOL. LOL. Okay, I'll shut up now. John says, we don't talk about Star Trek Academy ever. I tell you what. Oh, D agrees with Ravencroft. Yeah, me too. Bunny says, I heard Viagra helps you stay up, or is that the wrong kind of up? It might be the wrong one. D says the cranberry ball is just attached right off to them. Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly, yeah. You know, it's unfortunate because I would have loved to have, you know, been there for years and really had that prosper, you know, but what do you do when you got owners in another state? And they could have sold that. They could have sold that, but they chose to hold on to it, knowing they weren't going to fix it up, knowing that they weren't going to put money into it, knowing that they weren't going to revive it. And you had people who wanted it to be revived, and I won't get into that, but it is something that really burns me, because it's like if I really pushed, and you know, I could maybe, you know, henpeck my way to, you know, some. I don't like sitting out there in an empty mall and hearing crickets. You know, I just don't. I don't enjoy that. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. Ravencroft said, Kennedy didn't care one whit about Star Wars story. It was just a vessel for her to push her ideas onto. Unlike George Lucas, whose story appealed to our common humanity and was timeless. Yeah, the classic hero's journey. You know, that was it. It wasn't about a narrative, certain, oh, we got to push this agenda and wrap it up in the label of Star Wars. I hate that stuff. And then, like I said, Star Trek said, oh, hold my beer. How's the tapings of ChillerNight, Brian? Brad says. Going well. The tapings of ChillerNight and then the other tapings I'm doing. There's a lot of Jack Shadow coming up this year. Yep. Jack's a busy man creature. It's man creature. Well, he's got to make up for it though, doesn't he? He hasn't been out, you know, other than in the haunted houses since 2022. The last 4 years, he hasn't had, you know. So he's definitely making up for it now. I'm kind of wondering, what the heck did I do? Stephanie says, almost forgot, one time at book club I read The Invisible Man. Ah, okay, that's cool. Yeah, that was brought up earlier about you know, horror movies based on books. Very, very cool. All right, it is 8:54. I am going to now. Let's see, June calendar. There is our calendar for next month. Okay, so every Wednesday and Friday, beginning on the 17th, we'll have a Jack Shadow show, and I'll tell you what that is next week. And then on the 20th and 27th, you see, that is the relaunch of ChillerNight Theater. The new episodes begin next month. So, and like I said, next week, next Tuesday night, if you're watching this, you will be the first to see any. I haven't shown anyone any of this stuff publicly. I've shown Ava and my boys, but basically, I mean, that's it. Yeah. Oh, and Luke from Stream TV, I showed him a little bit of it. But you'll get to see it next week, and then the day after that is when I'll start posting stuff on social media, my teaser trailers. Jack Shadow, the creature of the night. I like that, D. Brandon says, I better settle down before I get flagged for indecency. I don't want to lose getting to be in this Chiller Night crew. It's the best show. Oh, thank you, Bonehead. Patty says, in the weeks coming up, can we do Mad Scientists and Mad Science? Oh, yeah. Now, next week, here we go. On the 12th, we have silent horror movies, and that was from SBC. And then on the 19th, we have, and this was Brian Ivers, humans that turn to human to monster horror movies. Okay, but then the week after that, we can do that, and that is Mad Scientists. Okay, and Mad Science. All right, good one. That's Patty's. Get down. All right. Now, where's my camera here? You have checked out ChillerNight Library for your Tuesday evening session with Bryan Hogue. This is Crozak de Grand reminding you to enjoy your evening. Thank you, Crozak de Grand. It is about that time, isn't it? Patty says, stay safe all. All right, you too. Ravencroft says, good one, Patty. Bennett says, that's a couple good topics, Miss Patsavan. John says, until next week when we get together again, stay chilled and keep thrilled. Yes. Brad says, it was just Kathleen Kennedy. Just dropped the ball. Yeah, she sure did. She sure did. 26th. All right, May 26th. That'll be Patty's. Night, y'all. D says, good night, D. Thanks for joining us. SBC says, unbelievable. Time's almost up. See you next week. Stay healthy and enjoy an old horror movie based on a book. Yeah, that's a good idea. Dominic says, hit the like button, you guys. Head out. Thanks, Brian, for doing these every week and reading all of our comments. You're very welcome. Thanks for joining us. Bennett says, thanks again to Brian and the ChillerNight crew. Yins are awesome and y'all rock. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Bonehead. Stephanie says, take care, y'all. See you next week. Thank you, Stephanie, and thanks for tonight's topic. Very, very cool topic there, Stephanie. Al says, good night, everyone. Good night, Al. Raymond says, later, Gators. And Ravencroft says, thanks again, Brian and all. Always great to relax with you folks for an hour. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bonus says, see you all next week. God bless you and good night. Yes. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining me and each other. Thank you, Stephanie, for the topic, horror movies based on books. That went over very well tonight. And don't forget, next week we will be doing silent horror movies will be our topic for next week. So, again, thanks for joining us. Have a good night. Have a good chiller night. We'll see you next